Hello YouTube, this is my first video of 2012, so Happy New Year to everyone. Hope you had a festive time. Thank you as well to all my new subscribers. I've noticed there's been a fair few people over the last month or so who've clicked that lovely button next to my videos. So this video I'm doing now is a tutorial request from Musikmakerman, who asked me if it's possible to sample a note from another keyboard and to have that play across all the keys on the Fantom, and the short answer is yes. So what I've got here is I've literally just switched on the Fantom, so that's your default screen, everything is as normal except I've turned the volume up obviously. And over here I've got my Korg M3 with a synth bass sound, volume's up, and out of the left mono output I have a cable that's going to the Fantom's left mono input. So if I go over here and press the sampling button and then F1 for sampling from an external source, and because I've only got one cable I want to put it on left line in and mono. And if I just show you the sound on the M3 that I've chosen for the purpose of this video, if you play detached you can hear the attack of each individual note, whereas if you play legato you only hear the next note from that sustain point. So when you actually do the sample, things like that you'll need to sort of recreate within the Fantom. So what I'm going to do is press F2 to auto trigger, and it says at the top there, now waiting for the input signal. When it hears that audio signal it'll automatically start sampling. So I'm going to press the D above middle C, and then automatically sample starts. You can see the green bars there showing the audio level, and I'll hit F7 to stop. If I hold F8, previews that sound. Now because I pressed D4, I need to go to sample parameter and tell it that that pitch it just heard was in fact D4. The reason for this will be clear in a moment, and if you want to do any snazzy things you can play the sample backwards and that kind of thing. So that's just a little note that you might find interesting. So if I go back to that sample screen I can then save the sample. If you don't save it you'll have to sample it again and do all your jiggery-pokery again. So make sure you save it, enter title, write, confirm, and then you go back to this screen and you hit F2, assign to keyboard or pad, and we want the keyboard, confirm, and confirm. So now if I press that D, it's that same sound we heard. If I press the C, the Fantom is now stretching that sample to sound at the pitch I'm playing. One thing it's not done though, it's not made it monophonic. Sorry if I turn the audio of the Fantom on. So it's a monophonic sound with legato. So to change that, we go to Patch Edit and Pro Edit, and then if we use F2 to scroll down, right down here we've got Solo tab. So we want to change it to monophonic and turn on the legato. Just turn that up a bit, make sure the camera's hearing it clearly. So there we have a fairly accurate recreation of that synth bass on the Fantom. Just to explain why I find synth basses work really well for sampling from one instrument to another, I'm going to sample a piano now and show you where one note sampling can sometimes fall short of the result you might expect or might want to achieve. So back to the sampling screen, F1 for external, and those settings are as I had them previously. So I'll turn the auto trigger on, over to the Korg, and now I'll call up a piano patch, and again I shall play the D above middle C, let the note fade. That'll do for now, stop. and then of course I'd go through the process of saving it and so on, and tell the Fantom that it's in fact not middle C but D4, then assign to the keyboard like so, and if I just try and position the camera in such a way that you can see me play. There we go. You'll notice that around the original note of that sample it does sound okay. Obviously there's no reverb, that's something you need to do afterwards, but because I've only sampled one note, if I play down here, it sounds quite rubbish if I play up here as well. Only stretches that sample to a certain length as well, away from the original note. So below that D, it stretches fine. Above it, whatever key you play, it'll sound the original. It'll sound only as far as that stretch. So if you want to have decent sounding instruments, you're going to have to do more than one sample. You might do one there which stretches an octave either side, another there which stretches either side, and so on. And you might want to do them at different velocities as well. The way for things like the Fantom's piano sound and other digital pianos, they sample 4 notes per key from an acoustic piano, and those 4 notes are at different velocities. So you've got 88 notes and you've got 4 samples per note. So do the math, and that is a lot of samples to get that really good piano sound that you have on a digital piano. So that's just one thing to keep in mind on what end result to expect, and that is why synth basses work well, because they're not a sound that we're as used to as the sound of a piano, so you can't tell that sort of lack of quality. It's not as obvious as a piano sounding a bit weird with a stretched sample like that. So, Musikmakerman, I hope that answers your question. Let me know if there's any other bits you'd want me to explain in more detail. And anyone else, if you've got any questions, excuse me, if you've got any questions related to this video or related to the Fantom or the M3, just pop me a comment, send me a private message, let me know, and I shall try and get on it. Just one final note as well. Before Christmas I said I was going to do a series of videos on MIDI, explaining what it is, how it's used, just break a few misconceptions that people have. If you want to know anything about MIDI, you have any questions related to it, I've got a snazzy little Novation MIDI controller over there to demonstrate the videos with, let me know, because I want to get cracking and do the first video. Hopefully people will start getting questions after that. So, thank you for watching, Happy New Year, welcome new subscribers, and I shall get more videos on soon. Cheers.